again.
Well, good morning, everybody. Yes, it's a pleasure to introduce Magister Marcela Burgos Pola. Yes, profesora de inglés, graduated at Instituto de Educación Superior, Dr. José Tello. Yes, she holds a postgraduate diploma from East Anglia University and a Master of Arts in Professional Development for Language Education, Fulbright Scholar in Ohio, and British Council Scholar at the Horme Summer School in Brazil, Academic Director at Yale Institute. She also teaches at secondary and tertiary level institution in San Pedro. Current President of ASPI, Asociación Jujeña de Profesores de Inglés. Yes, she has presented at national and international conferences on the importance of incorporating elements of culture in the EFL class. Thank you, Marcela, for being with us. Yes. And to
Thank you,
support
dear colleagues. Thank you, dear colleagues. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to share screen now.
Okay.
Can you all see? And we're also going to be interacting in the chat, okay? Thank you very much for your confirmation. Okay, so the presentation is called Enriching the EFL Class with Elements of the Own Culture. And this is a topic I'm very passionate about. I try to be present at different conferences, not only in Argentina, but abroad, on this very, very similar topic. And I would like to address it today with you. I know that there are many Jujeños here, but I also know that there are some Americans and some people from other provinces too. So I think it will be very enriching indeed. And the second part of the title is Applications in the Virtual and Face-to-Face Class. And the first question that I would like to share with you and get your answers is, why are we here today? Can you write in the chat, please? Why are we here today on a Saturday morning? After all the lesson plans and, and planificaciones that we had to send to our authorities. I will see what are you writing. To enrich my thesis. Oh, wow. Thank you, Laura, for being here today. To listen and get ideas for my thesis from Nicolas too. So many people doing research, as we can see in their answers. To share experiences from Jesus. Hi to Uruguay. So happy that you're visiting us today, virtually. Because I want to be a better teacher, to go on learning, to improve my English, to learn new tools. Thank you, Vanessa. To refresh and update. And Griselda is from Santa Cruz. So you see, we have the different provinces attending this conference, Maria Fernanda. So you should be very happy with this. And all the organizers, Angelica, Ernest, Maria Gabriela, congratulations.
Extremely happy and welcome everybody. Okay.
To improve my techniques of teaching, I am a translator. Because we teachers are constantly learning. That's true. That's true. Excellent. So let me give you my reasons to be here today. Thank you for sharing. I was invited by Maria Fernanda, and whenever we talk, we discover that we share the same passion, you know? We rediscover each other every time we talk. And this idea of sharing on a virtual basis is very enriching indeed, because it allows us to meet people from different parts of the world, from different parts of our province too. And this is a way of being present through the profession. AJPI, Asociación Jujeña de Profesores de Inglés, is turning 50 this year. And most people here, teachers, are part of it or have been part of it as committee members. So this is a very good opportunity to invite the new generations to join us. What you are seeing here is the fruit of many, many years of research and work together, the association with the university, because this is not the first time that Maria Fernanda is organizing something on behalf of the profession, together with the association and the university. So thank you again. And this is the main reason I am here, to say, here I am on behalf of AJPI and on behalf of the profesorado too. Thank you, Maria Fernanda, again.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's go to the topic itself. As teachers, do we know some questions like, what is culture? Why is it important for language learning? What are the different types of culture? How is culture learned and understood? So the first one, what is culture? Can you write in the chat, please, your definition or some words to define culture? Traditions, excellent. Beliefs, values. A set of beliefs, that's right. It identifies a society, is our essence. Human creations, identity. Shared knowledge, very, very nice definitions indeed. It is what represents us. Here you can find some of the words that you've been writing in the chat. What is culture? It's a set of values, attitudes, beliefs, customs. Everything you are saying. But we can also redefine it. We can also redefine what we know as culture. It is a framework of assumptions, ideas and beliefs that are used to interpret other people's actions, words, and patterns of thinking. And what is intercultural competence then? If culture is a set of traditions, customs, what is intercultural competence? Good, I see that you're writing, keep on writing about culture, ideas, food, religion, traditions. Intercultural competence is the ability of a person to behave adequately in a flexible manner when confronted with actions, attitudes, and expectations of representatives of foreign cultures. So the ability of a person to behave in a flexible manner. Let me tell you a little bit, for those who don't know me, why I like talking about culture. This is me showing where I come from, and this is my husband showing where he comes from. So at home, we have a lot of intercultural competence at stake. We need to behave in a flexible manner to understand each other's attitudes and beliefs every day for 20 years now. It's never stopping. These are my kids. This is an old picture because they are 17 and 11 now. And this is us sharing cultures in our own province. But at home, we have also had the experience of hosting an Italian boy. And this was a very, very good opportunity again to learn from different cultures and different beliefs. So we're going to redefine it, and to do it, we need to go cubist. Have you read Miriam Kasamasima's book? If not, I can show it later. It is called Planning as Narrative. And there, she's teaching us to see words and see things from different perspectives. So she says that we should not look at things only in this way, but as a cube from different sides. And I was very glad that at the beginning of the different talks, people were addressing this issue of authentic materials, which I think is very important for us. And you have already defined it in one of the talks. Anything a native speaker of English would hear or read or use can be described as authentic. But remember, we are here to redefine things. So can we talk about authentic materials from our own culture? Of course we can, because we are native speakers of Spanish. The teacher should select the material carefully. I think it was Analia who was asking about, or yes, I think it was Analia Burgos asking about the selection of material and how to implement it in class. The teacher should select the material carefully with the needs and interests of the students in mind, and also decide what the students are to do with the material. And this was Flavia Bonadeo talking about how to do that through action research. Using action research at a smaller scale, we can find out what are the real needs of our students. And I'm going to quote Susana Arguello too, because she mentioned that we should choose contenidos culturalmente significativos for our students. So we are teaching English, that's true, but can we adapt materials to our own reality, our own context? That's the challenge. Again, anything a native speaker of English would hear, read, or use can be described as authentic. And here we can just cross over English and say anything a native speaker of a language. So let's go to see some adaptation tools here. Authentic materials are preferably to be used as supplementary materials. That's true, sometimes. Sometimes we can use authentic materials according to our context as part of the curriculum. It is very beneficial to integrate technology, and there are many, many colleagues here that are doing research on technology and doing their licenciaturas on technology too. Cultural and religious appropriateness have to be taken into consideration. We have to be very careful here with these two topics. We have colleagues that have already done the research, that have already written books and have published their work. And one of them is Carolina Guerrero, which I had the pleasure to listen to and share many, many projects with her. So she wrote a book about our culture. And her motivation was that working at the place where she was, she didn't have, the students didn't have the opportunity to buy books. So she decided to write her own material. Then she published those stories, which is a very good starting point for research again. Using authentic materials helps to improve vocabulary learning process and increases students' motivation to learn vocabulary. Why? Because we have to, in this case, describe images. And generally we use posters or images that we download from the internet and that are not sometimes appropriate for the students or are not related to their context. So why not using the students' own pictures or our pictures? When you teach WH words, for example, why not integrating this flag to talk about the colors, to talk about the meaning, to talk about culture? Or pictures of your friends visiting our beautiful province. These are the typical pictures that tourists take. We don't take these pictures, do we? But tourists do. So your friends for sure have pictures like this that you can share with your students. Or talking about the flavors that we have here in Jujuy. How to say or describe these words like alfajores, nueces confitadas, escabeche. So those are words that are meaningful to us, because if we want to share with friends from abroad or friends from other provinces, we need to know how to explain them. And also the different monuments, or like things I love, like shoes and clothes. Also talk about the feelings people show. Like this is my kid when he was very young and he had to be dressed for 23 de agosto, for Éxodo Jujeño. And you know, mommies are always very proud to take their kids with the beautiful costume, but they are not very happy sometimes, especially when they are very young. So you can have questions like, what do you think he was thinking at that time when I took the picture? Or very simple words like, very simple questions like, how old was Max at that time? What did he say before going there? Did he want to be taken? Did he want the picture to be taken or not? So using the different tenses, using WH words, very simple questions, or even write a composition about this image. More friends, in this case, Linda is from Bariloche. And we were eating at a restaurant in Purmamarca. So quesillo con miel also had to be explained. Quesillo con nueces y miel. Again, doing some shopping. How do you explain aguayo? If a foreign person sees the word aguayo and your student has to explain this is the kind of cloth or the fabric or the design, a colorful design, all words that are simple to us, but that need to be taught to the students in order to be applied in the syllabus. So the action research, a very simple starting point, could be, how can we incorporate elements of culture in our classes, of our own culture? Because we always include the foreign one. And Maria Fernanda, Ernesto, and Maria Arguello had a very, very interesting project comparing both cultures, Argentinian and American one. And they should publish that work so that we can read about it, because it was very, very interesting.
Yes, and Gabriela was into.
And Gabriela too. So you see, sometimes we don't take the time because, as Flavia said, we don't get paid for that. We don't get any recognition for that. But it is when we get published, at least we can get those very simple points, very simple scoring in Junta de Clasificación. If you look at from the point of view of a reward, your research should be published so it can be recognized. Otherwise, it stays in the classroom or as a nice experience with your students. And in this case, we had the opportunity to listen to Maria Fernanda and Maria Gabriela when they talked, even in the United States, about this project. But many new teachers, newly graduate teachers, maybe didn't hear about that. So we will invite you, Maria Fernanda, in an event that we will organize with the association to share that experience and how difficult or easy it was. Okay?
Okay, with a team, we can do it.
Now that it's virtual, it can be done from any part of the world.
Okay.
So project work. Project work is a very interesting thing that we do in class. But if we do some previous research and then we publish it, it doesn't stay just in a project. It goes beyond that. And what can we do for project? Here are some examples. For example, where does our food come from? Or how Christmas tastes in different countries. We can say in different provinces here. Around the world in 12 dishes, for those of you who love cooking. My national food. I chose these topics because people generally mention food when we ask for a definition of culture. Songs to videos, the list can be endless. And if you feel that you are failing sometimes because you cannot achieve the goal or you stopped in the middle of it, remember that people see just the tip of the iceberg. They see when we see what Maria Fernanda and the team did, but not the whole work that went on and on and on for several months before it. So we see the tip of the iceberg and we say, oh, that was a very easy project. But it's not like that. So don't feel frustrated. Keep on doing it. Go to the end of it. Sometimes you may feel like Homer here, you see? Very tired. I don't understand this technology. How do I do things? But your students are like Garfield. So ask for help. Movies can also be used. They show, if we find movies or series now in Netflix that show events or places related to our local culture, to our local context, because they are a rich source of authentic material. And I mentioned video clips here because I also like to work with the La Cantada videos, and they show different parts of the province that are very useful for my presentations when I go outside Jujuy. We can think about the text. So as I mentioned this, I am always thinking about all the levels, going from beginners to profesorado students. Think about possible conversation and writing topics. So my conclusion and suggestions. Work with the material you feel comfortable with. If you love working with technology and you can use all the apps, but joining them with culture, good for you. But if you love working just with a PowerPoint, a very simple one with images, that's okay too. And if you, like we are lucky now to keep on going to school, to have face-to-face lessons, because English was included in the subjects that could be taught in person. Take your poster, take your photographs. We have now only 15 students in class, so we can show them. It was not like having the 40 students all together. And work with the material you feel comfortable with. Don't think that because you don't use all the apps, your students will be bored or they will not be interested. And also take every opportunity to learn new things. Ask your students for help. Ask them, how do I do this? Or listen, I would like to include this. Would you teach me? Take your time and take the opportunity of listening to the younger generation. Also, let your colleagues help you. Sometimes we are part of many, many groups, and people are very fond of sharing in those groups. They sometimes share only jokes, but if you ask for help, they can also share very useful tips for your classes. And don't be afraid of creating your own material, because we learn by doing. Have only 2 rules. Be your wild and courageous, brilliant self every single day. And have fun. Always have fun, because otherwise it's not worth it. All the work, staying very late at night, trying to do the things that you'd like to share with your students. If you don't have fun, it's not worth it. Because remember, no matter how many mistakes you make or how slow you progress, you are still way ahead of everyone who isn't trying. Thank you very much. I share here my social network so that we can be in touch. And I hope I am going to see many posts about your work with culture in your classes at different levels.
Okay, thank you, Marcela. We have so many things to work, so many resources working with culture. So as your title says, enriching our classes, that's what culture does. Okay.
Maria Fernanda, I would like to show, apart from Kelita's adventure, another book that one of our colleagues wrote, Marcelo Mariscal.
I think they are here. I think they are in the Zoom. Okay.
I saw him. Hello, Marcelo. So congratulations on this, Marcelo. You should be publishing another one. Marcelo collected stories from his students. So you see, even being an editor helps you to publish, helps you to do research, because you have to guide your students to compile something like this. And I have a book from colleagues from Salta too, Multicultural Texts and Voices. So these are different colleagues from UNSA that joined forces to publish their own book, their own material, research material. And from San Pedro, something that was written in Spanish, but I can use anyways, is a book on the geography of our province that a teacher from San Pedro wrote. So look, they are not big, enormous research works. They start little by little. It takes a lot of effort and time, but it's not impossible. So just dare. The name of the second book was Childhood. And also some people from the United States wrote about us. This is also a way of working in our classes with our culture, seeing what people see from different perspectives. And talking about different perspectives, and I'm closing with this. This is the book of that belongs to Miriam Casamasima, where she addresses the issue of not seeing things on one plane only, but from different perspectives, right? Thank you very much.
Okay.
And if you have any questions, I am here to answer them.
Okay. Questions for Marcela? There's one there.
Analia, you can contact me on by private message and I will tell you, okay?
Okay, thanks, Marcela.
Okay.
So just do it. Dare doing it and try.
Okay, thank you, Marcela. Thank you very much again and again. Okay. Well, everybody knows you, so they can put in contact with you whenever
that's right.
you want. Okay. Okay, thank you. Well, we are going to go on with our next talk by Ernesto Reyes, and he's going to be introduced by Daniel Smerbach. Daniel?
Yes, I am here. Thank you very much, Maria. Ernesto Alfredo Reyes is graduated from the Instituto Nacional de Educación Superior José Eugenio Tello as teacher de Santiago del Estero. He's a scholarship holder of the United States Embassy in Buenos Aires with a teacher ambassador program in the city of Austin, Texas, the USA. He is also a scholarship holder in INF in the International Program Bilingual Language. Since 1986, he has worked as an English teacher at different educational levels in the province of Jujuy, primary, secondary, tertiary, and university. Manager of the opening of the English teacher career and career coordinator in El Instituto de Educación Superior número 6. Mr. Reyes was a member of the technical team of the Ministry of Education in the province of Jujuy in the elaboration of the curricular design of the English teacher training colleges. He was also part of Jujuy Ministry of Education curricular development team for secondary education, foreign languages. He's in charge of ELT practicum on specific didactic subject in an English teacher training college in ES número 6, El Carmen City, Jujuy. It is a pleasure to introduce an excellent teacher, sophisticated teacher in the province of Jujuy, Ernesto.
Oh, thank you very much, Martin, for the presentation. Sophisticated, I don't know if I'm sophisticated, but I will try my best to share my experience, really. It was a pleasure to have a talk with Fernanda. Fernanda invited me, and now I have the opportunity to share my experience in research, really. So I want to share simple slides to guide my presentation. Let's see, I'm not good at technology, but let's work with technology. All right, can you hear me? Is it clear?
Yes, I can hear
Yes,
you.
we can hear. Yes.
Yes, because I have not my image on the screen, but I have the slide. The title of my presentation is Reflections on the Development of a Thesis.
Ernest, just a second.
Yes.
Are you sharing? Are you sharing something?
I'm sharing.
At least I can't see. I don't know the rest. We can see you, but not the presentation.
Not the presentation. Okay, let's see. I'm going to try it. Okay, let's see. Okay.
There we are. Good.
Okay, thank you very much. So the title of my presentation is Reflection on the Development of a Thesis in the field of ELT in the province of Jujuy. This is my personal experience in doing my final work in the paper. So I want to tell you about the background of this work. I live in the province of Jujuy, specifically in the city of El Carmen. I work at ES número 6 at the English Teaching Training College. So I had the experience of attending a career that La Universidad Nacional de Santiago del Estero proposed. It was, I had started this career in 2014. La Universidad Nacional de Santiago del Estero brought her teachers to Jujuy, so I attended during 2 years face-to-face classes.
¿Qué debe ser tu problema? Porque se lo escucha bien.
Sorry, Fernanda, you're not muted.
Don't worry, it's okay. It's okay. So after attending those classes in San Salvador de Jujuy, face-to-face classes, and we had the opportunity to have a teacher, professor from Córdoba, from Rosario, from Santiago del Estero. It was an amazing career. I want to thank Universidad Nacional de Santiago del Estero for this opportunity. You know that in Jujuy we have no opportunity to go on studying at the university level, specifically on our English teacher profession. That is a fact here in the province of Jujuy. So that's why I thanks the Universidad Nacional de Santiago del Estero for this opportunity. But I think that the challenging situation came when I had to decide about the topic of my final thesis, the final work. You know, I teach at the English Teacher Training College in El Carmen. I am in charge of ELT practicum. I had the opportunity to decide about the topic or theme that should have been let's say, to follow in my final paper. I decided to take advantage, let's say, of a specific setting. That is one important point when you have to decide about what to work about with the final paper you have to develop. To have, let's say, a specific training according to your teaching profession, to have the participant at hand. I advise you to feel comfortable and to think of the availability of your participant. It's fundamental. I had that opportunity because my students, they were 8 students, amazing students, intelligent students at the ELT practicum, and they were my participants. Okay, to start my final work, something very important was my organization. You know, we are teachers, our teaching profession is a demanding profession. You know that we don't work only at school, but we go on working at home. How can I manage my time if I have to develop a thesis? It was too complicated. I had to organize myself. I'm a social person, I have family, I have friends, and I had to sacrifice my free time, my holidays, I had to sacrifice my weekends, and you have to accept this. This is when you want to invest your time in doing something that you like, yeah? So I think that you have to organize yourself and try to do your best in developing your thesis. And what about the requirements? That university, UNCE, has many requirements. One of the most difficult was to get a supervisor, to get a thesis advisor here in the province of Jujuy. I think that my colleagues, they know that it's very difficult to have an advisor to guide your thesis, to guide your ideas. In this situation, I have to thank a lot Miss Silvia Salinas because she was my advisor. She was my advisor, an excellent advisor. She was with me during the development of the thesis. But it's really a difficult issue, not only for the person who is developing the final work, but for the advisor himself. You know, as the other colleagues told us, that it's very difficult according to the time we have at home, we have with personal duties. Really, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. But it's possible. It's possible. And about the rules and regulations, you have to have at hand all the time the rules and regulations the university wants you to follow. You have to follow the rules and regulations. No way. You have to follow the rules and regulations if you want to get a degree, really. This is my personal experience. I remember that I started writing my thesis with the rules and regulations at hand. Every time, every chapter, they want you to do this, okay, do that. Don't worry, don't feel uncomfortable, do that. I'm going to speak about the scientific papers later on, but you have to follow the rules and regulations. And what about the bibliography? Time changes. So I remember that many years ago, it was quite difficult to get specific books about what you are learning about. Now you have the opportunity of using technology. If you search on the web, you may get, or you may access to much knowledge about what you are looking for. So organization is fundamental to start your thesis. And here you have the thesis, the topic, the theme. I have told you that it's necessary to choose a specific topic, and you have to be eager to follow that topic because you like that topic, because you need to solve some problem. The topic is fundamental. As I have told you, I have some problems that I detected with my students in ELT practical. I remember that, I used to ask them final report according to the observations they did, or lesson observation they did. They should use an argumentative writing. It was quite difficult for my students to write their arguments. My goodness gracious. That's why the name, the title of my work, Academic Writing, Promoting Critical Thinking to Improve Argumentative Essay. It was a real problem. You have to work on real problems, my dear colleagues. Really. If you want to choose a topic, a theme, you have to think of real problems. You know that our teacher profession, every day we are facing many problems, and we have to try to solve those problems. If you want to follow those problems in a thesis, because this is a document, okay, you have to choose a topic according to the work you have at hand. Every day you face problems in your teaching profession, in your teaching practices. Academic writing, promoting critical thinking to improve argumentative essay. So I detected the problem. I set my objectives to solve the problems. Research questions were based on the objectives. Then we have the variables. All those elements of research should be in a logical way. They should be interconnected. Problem, objective, research question, variable. They should be connected all the time. Every single sentence you write should be based on the problem you have chosen, on the objective, on the research question, on the variable. We have a logical paper. We need a logical paper. Of course, we're going to use a specific methodology, educational research methodology. Too much information on the net, too much information if you surf on internet, too much information if you look for information about methodology. Please don't get lost consulting.
Ernesto, excuse me, sorry to interrupt you, but I will ask people to turn off the micro, please.
Sorry, Fernanda.
No. I will ask people that turn off their micros, please.
Ah, yes. Okay.
So we can hear better.
Okay. Don't worry. But is it okay? Can you hear me properly?
Yes, but there is noise. Okay, let's go on. So sorry.
Okay. Don't worry. Okay. So my thesis, my paper, I would like to show some examples. My slides that I have used to support my thesis during at the university in Santiago del Estero. I want to show. Let's try. I would like to show the slides about my thesis. I'm going to try my best not to get lost with the presentation. Let's see. I want to. Where is the other slide? Okay, I'm looking for the example I have about my thesis. And I was talking about educational research methodology. I could get two amazing books, Creswell, Educational Research Planning, Conducting and Evaluating Quantitative and Qualitative Research. And the other one is Hernández Sampieri, Fernández Collado, Baptista Lucio, Metodología de la Investigación. I had these two books to consult all the time. I had these two books to consult all the time, and it was, they were useful books. I decided not to consult more bibliography about educational research methodology because I got lost with so many information. So I want you to show my thesis. Okay,
Ernesto, sorry, yes. Again, sorry to interrupt you again. No. Le voy a pedir a alguien de Lujo Virtual si podría silenciar a Claudia que está con el micrófono abierto y no deja escuchar. Está cocinando, no. Evidentemente. Pero por favor, así podemos seguir escuchando la charla. Thank you. So sorry.
No, you're welcome. It's okay. Thank you very much. It helps me to prepare my slide because I'm not good at technology. I'm trying. I want to show as an example my thesis. I remember that Miss Sachi, Fabiana Sachi, she was my teacher, my professor in charge of educational research methodology in this career, and she told, please don't use the word thesis. It's a terrified word. Use a final paper, final task, whatever you want, but not thesis. It's terrible, 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 terrible. Okay, I'm going to show my final paper, Academic Writing Promoting Critical Thinking to Improve Argumentative Essay. You know that I'm pointing to the problem I could detect, I could find in my work with my students, of course. The supervisor, of course, Silvia Salina, excellent supervisor, excellent advisor, and the institution it is from. Introduction, the necessity of searching the causes of the problem in academic writing, production, argumentative, implementation of a treatment, critical thinking, the main strategy, the proposal of these writing strategies based on critical thinking skill to be implemented. I'm reading in a hurry because just this is an example of my final paper. Significance of research. Teachers at the English Teacher Training College at yes, número 6 should consider new writing strategies to face the effective academic writing. Students must generate their own thoughts and to improve their production of argumentative essay. I have stated the problem for 3-year students of the English Teacher Training College at yes, número 6, el Carmen, who do not produce argumentative essay in an EFL academic writing. So this is my example of the final task of the final paper. The objectives, there you have the objectives, they should be according to the problem. The theoretical frame, it's very important to show the theoretical frame. This is a research work. This is a research work, you know? You have to be serious, you have to think academically. Academic writing in the EFL context, more about the theoretical aspect of my work, what the argumentative essay is, critical thinking skill. My students need to be critical thinkers in order to produce their essay according to the necessity of the writing production they need. Critical thinking in relation to learning and teaching, of course. We have the teaching environment. We cannot think of critical thinking in other environments, but in the learning teaching environment. Of course, Bloom's taxonomy is fundamental to take into consideration literature review. You know that those steps in developing scientific papers are necessary. This is not an invention. I didn't want to state the literature review. We have to follow some specific formats about the production of documents, academically, of course. The methodology, this is very important. Methodology, this is very important. What kind of methodology you are going to use according to the problem, according to the title, according to your aims and objectives, yes? Research questions. Again, research questions according to the problem, according to the objectives of your paper. Then you have to think of, don't worry. I think that everybody may listen to me. Setting and participants. I have told you about the setting and participants. I took into consideration to work with my students in my subject at the profesorado. So it was quite comfortable for me to work in that place, to work with my participants. They were my students. And I think that every action I took, it was in benefit of my students. I wanted to help my students to improve their writing. Okay. And how are you going to organize the developing the paper here? Procedure and schedule is allowed to inform the student authority, questionnaire, and so on. This is an example, finding and interpretation, of course. Those are parts of a scientific paper. I had to set the pretest, interpretation of the pretest result, the writing workshop, the treatment of my work, the process to achieve argumentation, posted participant performance. All right, interpretation of the post-test result, and the conclusion of my work. The conclusion of my work. Okay. This is an example of what I want to show you now. Again, let's go with my presentation. The background, organization, the thesis itself, setting and participant, I have told you about this. I have told you that I had to produce scientific paper. And you know, the scientific paper, and I have some notes. The scientific paper is to use to present information that the reader can take advantage of it. It is a scientific paper. The scientific paper has a standard model. The standard model of a scientific paper is to facilitate the access to knowledge by the reader. We have an international standard model. We have to use APA style. That is to say that we have to follow some rules again and regulation to cite the sources we are using. APA style should be used, must be used in scientific papers in order to facilitate the readers of my paper to access to the knowledge they are looking for or they are eager to know, okay? And something very important, academic writing. You have to use the formal way of writing whenever you are producing a scientific paper. According to the Dictionary of Cambridge, what academic writing is. Academic writing is a formal style of writing in higher education and scholarly publication. This is a must. You have to use standard standard model, APA style, academic writer in order to produce scientific paper. You have to think that you have many readers who are eager to know about what you are writing about. If they need information, you have to spread knowledge. You have to think as scientists too. And something very important, whenever you write, you have to think like a writer. Please, you are the producer of a scientific paper. Don't feel you are not able to write. Please think like a writer. This is a good advice. You have to feel confident that you are able to produce a scientific paper. Some people, they think I'm not able to do this. This is for professional people from university, from Harvard, from Oxford University. No, everybody's able to produce a scientific. Like a writer.
Hipertensa. Entonces el tipo el chavo
Okay.
Please, the microphones.
As I have told you, this is an informal talk with you. I want to motivate my colleagues to go on working with their papers. I know that everybody is able to be a researcher. As conclusion, I have this phrase: ELT teachers are natural researchers in the classroom. As I have told you, we are facing many problems every day in our teaching practices. And of course, as responsible teachers, we want to solve those problems. The idea of educational research methodology is to organize this process when we want to solve our problems. We are using a document. That document is called thesis. A thesis, to elaborate a thesis, you have to follow step 1, step 2, step 3, we are organizing a systematization of our daily teaching activity in class. So I'm sure that you are researchers. You are researchers all the time. You have to face a problem in your classroom. That's why I want to foster you to go on with your work, with your papers, with your investigation, with your research, whatever you want to call it. Yes? Unfortunately, I must say that during past times in our English teacher training colleges 20, 30 years ago, we had not educational research methodology as a subject. Those curricula, they didn't consider this subject as part of the program. Fortunately, nowadays, the new curricula of the English teacher training colleges are considering educational research methodology. It's a good advantage because we, as all teachers, we were not trained in educational research methodology. I think that we are learning by oneself. We are learning about this subject that's necessity nowadays to take into consideration to improve our teaching practices. We need to improve our teaching practices all the time. We have to train ourselves, or perhaps to follow or to attend courses in order to learn about this amazing subject that is educational research. Yeah, it was a challenging for me to elaborate this thesis, to elaborate this scientific paper, let's say. It was a challenging task, but it is possible. It is possible. That's why I want to foster my colleagues to continue with their final papers. This is my conclusion, but before finishing my presentation, I have some congratulations, let's say. I want to thank Universidad Nacional de Jujuy, and especially to Miss Maria Fernanda Rodriguez for her invitation. I want to thank Universidad Nacional de Santiago del Estero because we have no possibilities here in Jujuy to attend face-to-face classes. During 2 years, we have been attending face-to-face classes. La Universidad Nacional de Santiago del Estero sent teachers from Córdoba, Rosario, Santiago del Estero to San Salvador de Jujuy, and we had the opportunity to attend excellent classes during the development of the different seminars during 2 years. I want to thank to IES número 6, and of course, I want to thank AHPE, not to thank, congratulate AHPE on the 50th anniversary. thank you very much to ACPE, because during 50 years they were with the English teachers in the province of Jujuy, organizing training colleges. And I had the honor to be a member of the committee when Miss Liliana Murillo was the president, and when Miss Fernanda Rodriguez was the president. I had the honor to be part of the committee of ACPE. And I want to thank Marcela Burgos, because she's keeping alive. She's keeping alive ACPE. I love ACPE, and I think that all the English teachers in Jujuy, they love ACPE. And I want to foster new English teachers and future English teachers to keep going this association. It helps a lot, and it will be helping teachers in the future. I'm sure of that. Thank you to my colleagues, and thank you to my students.
Okay, Ernesto, thank you so much. Very interesting, your research work. And it's true, we have been working together for a long time. And we get on well in this work because we, as Marcela was saying, share the same passion for teaching or for our profession.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much, really.
Okay, thank you, Ernesto. I was talking and the microphone was off, but I was saying that it's true, all of us love ACPE, and because as Marcela was saying, we share the same passion. We love teaching English, we love English, so we are always looking for ways to improve it, okay? And this is the end of the educational research, you know, to find solutions to some problems we have in our classrooms, okay?
Yes,
and you know, at the university we do scientific work like yours, for example, but we all can be considered researchers, because all of us have problems in our classroom, and what we do, we observe that problem, we start asking questions and making hypotheses, and then try to solve them. So in that way, we are researchers, practical researchers in our classroom. So thank you so much for your presentation.
No, thank you for your invitation, Maria Fernanda. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes, I was going to say that, so sorry, Marcela, that Ernesto is also a coordinator of this event, okay? He's an academic coordinator of the event, of this event. Okay, so sorry, go with your question.
Thank you very much, Ernest, for your beautiful words towards ACPE.
Thank you, Marcela.
And yes, we are very lucky to have been part of different committees and have worked in different opportunities with different presidents. So it is a pleasure to meet at different events, isn't it?
Yes, of course. And do you remember, Marcela, the first one, Marcela, was when we went to FAPI conference in San Juan together with other colleagues, really. We were so young, my goodness.
Well, my question is related to that, Ernest.
Okay,
I think I will speak on behalf of all the participants here, because we would like to know, how do you manage to stay exactly the same year after year, my dear friend?
I'm a single man, so I'm happy, and I keep young. Perhaps my appearance looks young. I don't know, but okay. It was a long experience. You know, I had started teaching in 1986, 34 years, almost 35 years of teaching English in our province, and I love teaching, really. Whenever you love what you do, it's easy. It's easy, really.
So you need to, here is the title for your next publication then. How did I manage to stay young teaching English?
My soul is young. Okay, no, thank you very much for your words, really, Marcela. And I have to
congratulations
thank you
on your presentation.
Keeping, really, the association alive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other question, or we are going to have our break lunch? So, I'm coming back to 1:30, okay? So this is the last part. Maria Gabriela Portal will be presented with Sandra, and there you will have the link for the second attendance, okay? So see you 1:30. Bye-bye.
Okay, see you.
Bye bye. See you.
Bye, see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
No lo encuentro.
Bye-bye.